Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is the second week of May here in the Boston area, and it is finally actually spring now. And for me, that means riding to work is our reality. The weather is finally nice enough consistently, and it's warm enough early in the morning where I can get to work and not worry about getting rained on and snowed on or anything like that. But in this video, we're going to discuss on how you can make that a reality for you as well, depending on where you live, what gear you have, and how you can prepare. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready, and we will cover what I use, some suggestions for you, whether you're just looking to reduce your carbon footprint, sneak in some base miles while you're commuting, you hate finding a parking spot, or maybe you just flat out don't own a car. So let's get some kits on, get some breakfast in me, get the bike ready, and we'll cover all those details in just a sec.
What it do?
Hey, Future Remy, while editing, just a quick few notes. I tried something new on this one and recorded almost all of this video on my bike while riding to and from work yesterday. I had to make it authentic, right? So with that, you'll hear my bike computer and radar going off from time to time just to warn me of cars coming up from behind. This is my Garmin Varyar radar paired to my Wahoo Bolt computer. Not sponsored at all, but highly recommended. There was a wind gust in the earlier part of this video, and my microphone could only reject so much of it. I think it mostly turned out okay, but I always include subtitles in these, so feel free to turn them on for like the next minute if you find it a little challenging to hear, but it should be a-okay after that. All right, back to the video.
So you want to ride to work. Awesome. I am here 1,000% in support of that. But a couple of things to keep in mind. The same route that you maybe drove or took the train or the bus may not always be the best option to ride. Admittedly, I'm spoiled with back roads, so I can really ride any which way and have a safe, fun time. But the theme you're gonna get here is proper planning. So you gotta map out a route ahead of time, and it helps doubly to kind of scout it out, do a little bit of pre-planning. And yeah, if you're not for pre-planning, you're not for looking ahead, then this may not be for you, full stop. But along with that, you may also want to consider your workplace environment. Exhibit A, I am dressed in a full-on skin-tight cycling kit. I have a place to change when I get to work and am super comfortable walking around like this. You know, that's just who I am. You may prefer a little bit more modesty, and that's okay too. You can choose your cycling attire appropriately, or if you have the opportunity to get cleaned up and changed when you arrive, even better. That said, you don't have to get sweaty to ride to work. You can obviously choose to ride more casually, even ride a little bit more upright. Now, I'm choosing to take the short way in and the sporting way back home, which is another kind of hidden bonus here. Kind of choose your adventure as you go. Something else to mention is, I said previously, it's finally nice enough consistently. For me, 45 degrees Fahrenheit with the sun out is plenty. Throw on some arm sleeves and we're ready to roll. Your mileage may vary. So you'll have some trial and error. Maybe you grab a jacket, maybe you put on some base layers, or maybe you use some alternative options other than the bike on days that it's too cold or days that it's rainy. I don't mind the rain too much. Sometimes you get caught in it, but I definitely do not ride in the snow. At this point, I'm sure some of you are wondering, well, what exactly is it that you do for work that you can ride and show up? I'd never be able to. And I get it. I 100% get it. Number one, I work a desk job. I'm a data specialist. So I am in an office. It is business casual. And I'm not gonna lie to you and say it's easy. But it's also not as hard as you might think it is. I will 100% recognize my position of privilege when it applies and tell you flat out that yes, I do have a couple of things working for me in this instance where I do work in tech. I have a cloud server and a VPN where I can leave a computer at the office and have a computer at home and all of my work files sync, so I don't need to bring that back and forth with me. Also, have the privilege of having a dining hall at my workplace, so I can ride in, have breakfast, have lunch, so I don't have to pack anything on my way to and from. And lastly, is that I make some deliberate compromises to set up and carve out a little bit of time on a Sunday afternoon to shuttle in clean clothes, change of shoes, deodorant, wipes, body spray, all the essential toiletries that you might need. I've heard from some of my female colleagues who do the same, and they depend on dry shampoo for their hair and, you know, all sorts of other ways to make it a reality. So again, I'm not gonna tell you it's easy, but with a little prep, it is far more accessible than you might think. For as much fun as it is to ride to work, it's that much better to take the scenic way home if you've got the time, or pepper in a little workout, or heck, just have that satisfaction of breezing by all those cars sitting in traffic. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't make a note about a couple of things to keep an eye out for during your workday to prepare you for that ride home. Namely, stretching of some degree. Now, I'm not saying you gotta get down on the floor and do a full, 30-minute routine or anything, but it's definitely worthwhile to make sure the hamstrings stay happy, the hip flexors stay happy, and nothing gets too tight, your obliques, your core, all of that. So it helps just general wellness and movement throughout the day. Couple that with staying on top of your hydration. Staying hydrated on the bike, always a good thing. Hydrated off the bike to prepare for that ride, really important. So don't just be drinking coffee all day. I'm not gonna tell you an exact amount, like, oh, you gotta drink this much water, but you know yourself. Make sure you're rehydrating and keeping that topped up so that you're good for the afternoon ride, should you decide to make it a more spirited one. Lastly, it really helps to be mindful of what you're snacking on and what you're having for lunch over the course of that workday. Going in to the cafeteria or to the cafe, the pizza shop, wherever you go, and just having a slice of pizza. Sounds good in the moment, but some of these things are a little heavier and harder to digest. And believe you me, you will feel it on the ride home. I've been caught out a couple of times, either having lunch too late and having that sit on me, or even letting my eyes be a little bigger than my stomach and taking on a little too much, thinking I needed to refuel and pack in all the carbs, and took in something that was far more than the expenditure. Now, you might be listening to some of this and thinking, nah, man, that's a whole lot. I'm not doing that. This is what I do. Try it out and see what works for you. What combination of these tips and tricks will make it possible for you to ride commute to work? What things you might add? Better yet, drop it down in the comments. What am I missing? Right behind me, I'm on the overpass now, nearly home, and this could be your commute to and from work, or you could be wrapping up from your bike. Neighbor, is it perfect? Nope. Is it easy? Definitely not. But when you compare the ups and downs of riding your bike and doing that preparation versus sitting in the car for hours each way, I mean, the choice is clear to me. Not only did I get some sunshine, I got a workout, and it took about the same amount of time to get to and fro. I had to do some thinking before just hopping in the car and throwing everything in the back seat or in the trunk and going, but I feel like the benefits far outweigh the alternative. But that's me. Thanks for riding along. If you've been inspired by this, give me a like. Let me know down in the comments if you are bike commute curious, if you're thinking about it, if there's any questions that are still left unanswered, if we need to do a follow-up. Let me know what you thought. Let me know how you get on. Till next time, it's been real.